Here's a little story I made up. It's about a girl named Freddie. So Freddie explains that she probably held the world's record for being misidentified in terms of sex. Everybody thought she was a boy until they met her, and they realized she was a girl because she's named Freddie. Now, Freddie explains that that's just a nickname. Her real name is F. Fremont Osborne. Okay, so then we have to ask Freddie, why are you named F. Fremont? What does the F stand for? Anyway, so Freddie explains. Says that what happened was Daddy was a compulsive gambler, and he always made bets and lost most of the time. So his bookie lived in Fremont. So anyway, when Mommy was with child, that is, she was pregnant with Freddie, Daddy figured he'd give Mommy a gift. He said, "You can name that baby anything you want to name it. I don't care. I give you blank check." Right. So anyway, go ahead and try to cash that check, huh? So Mommy waits right up to the time when she has to give up a name. And she says to the doctor, "This girl is named F. Fremont Osborne." And so the doctor says, "What does the F stand for?" And she says, "It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as I want to name that child that, and Daddy agrees, that's what the child's name will be." So, but the problem is, there was a discussion between Daddy and Mommy as far as why name it F. Fremont? Why name the girl F. Fremont? And Mommy explains that, well, your bookie lives in Fremont. You go over to Fremont to give him the money, to take food out of our mouths, and I figured I'd just leave things. I would try to make things clear to me, just why the hell I married you. And so the F stands for Fremont. I married you because you needed somebody to help you because you're so screwed up. And I figure the girl's name's got to be for Fremont because everything goes to the bookie. All right, so anyway, so Daddy gets upset. Says, "No, that's not true. Fuck Fremont." You know. Anyway, so then Mommy gets an idea. She says, "Well, Daddy just said something very revealing to me. He said, 'Fuck Fremont.'" Well, so she goes around the neighborhood and she tells everybody in the neighborhood, you know, kind of secretly though, "Don't tell anyone, but my husband likes babies. He's a pedophile. Yeah, he told me that himself. And he also likes to have sex with his bookie." Right? So he goes over and has sex with his bookie, and then also he looks out for children to mess with. So she goes all around the neighborhood saying this. Of course, Daddy comes home one day and all the neighbors say, "You gotta go, baby, you gotta go. We heard that you're a pedophile, you're a baby raper. Oh my God. And then you're homosexual on top of that because, you know, you want to fuck your bookie." Anyway, and then Daddy takes Mommy aside and says, "Did you tell everyone that I'm a baby raper and a homosexual?" "Well, you know, I just told him what you told me. You said, 'Fuck Fremont.'" "Well, you know, Fremont, of course, is our child. That's her middle name. And so she's a baby. So basically that means you would like to fuck your little baby. That makes you a pedophile. And if you're not that, but you probably are, you want to fuck your bookie, because your bookie is in Fremont. Because remember, every time you get some money, I ask you where the money's going, you say it's for Fremont. Well, Fremont's where your bookie lives. You know, Joey the bookie. So anyway, I just told him what you told me. If you hadn't said fuck Fremont, then I wouldn't have said anything. I mean, that's what you said. Well, anyway, Daddy knocks Mommy down on the ground, and then Mommy's unconscious. Well, F. Fremont, or Freddie, is screaming in the background. Somebody hears the kid scream, "Oh my God, there's a baby crying!" So what happens is they run to the door and they see Mommy bleeding on the floor. They take her to the hospital. They ask her what happened, and she says, "Daddy, my husband, knocked me out because I said things he didn't like." Well, then they said, "Well, you can't say things they don't like because that's your role. You have to be subservient to the husband." And then Mommy says, "Well, fuck this shit," after the legal, of course. And anyway, she gets up and she goes to the police. She says, "What should I do about my husband? He wants to knock my head off. He wants to hurt me." And they say, buy a gun. Buy a gun. If he hurts you, just blow him away. Shoot him. Well, wouldn't I go to jail? Well, maybe not. So anyway, so she has a gun in her purse, and when Daddy comes back, and he's really mad because, you know, now he's been targeted by Joey because Joey's heard that that Daddy wants to have sex with him, and he says, "You motherfucker, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get everybody that looks like you." Anyway, so that's what. So you know, Joey's really pissed, and he's not gonna give any more loads to, no more bets to Daddy. 'Cause Daddy is bad. So anyway, so Daddy comes home and looks at Mommy, and he gets ready to knock her down again, baby. Knock her down again. But Mommy pulls out that .38, holds it up against Daddy's forehead and says, "You twitch, motherfucker, and I'll shoot, and you'll be dead. You'll be dead in the door now." And so Daddy says, "Oh, okay. All right, back away, bitch." So he backs away. He goes out. He goes to a local hardware store. He gets a lot of plywood and some white paint and some black paint. And then he comes home with it. He goes out in the yard. He paints the plywood white, and then he lets it dry. And then he takes some black paint and a paintbrush, and he paints a big sign saying, "My wife is crazy." Okay. And he puts that up in the yard saying, "My wife is crazy." Well, this kind of disturbs Mommy. So Mommy goes to a lawyer and says, "My husband is trying to paint me as being crazy, or portray me as being crazy." She has a big sign in the front yard saying, "My wife is crazy." I took a Polaroid of it, and here it is. And I want to divorce him. So the lawyer says, "And he's beat you?" And yes, he's beaten me. And the police have come, and I've had to go to the hospital. I have one child. What's the child's name? F. Fremont. Well, why did you name the child F. Fremont? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? That's the child's name. So anyway, Mommy and Daddy get divorced. F. Fremont grows up, and then one day she's old enough to talk, and Mommy says, "Hey, Freddie, come over here." So Freddie comes over, and at some point, being kids are curious, of course, Freddie asks Mommy, "Why do you call me Freddie? I'm a girl. Isn't Fred a boy's name?" And Mommy tells Freddie, "Well, I have to tell you, the reason you're named F. Fremont is because your daddy used to rob us of all our money and take it to this bookie, this man, this evil man in Fremont, and he'd always say, 'This is for Fremont.' So all our savings went to the bookie. And so, excuse me, I'm just going to scoot right by you. Anyway, and then I had to name you that to remind me why your father was such a damn fool." Well, I wouldn't say damn fool. He was a dastardly fella. So, and the reason I call you Freddie is because there's a character that created by Red Skeleton. Anyway, and it's called Freddie Freeloader. And he's like a bum, and he takes advantage of every opportunity and just doesn't do any work, but just basically lives the life of Riley. And Freddie says, "Who's Riley?" And Mommy says, "Freddie, you'll learn all this eventually." So, what happens then, of course, is very interesting. But I won't tell you the rest of it because I have to stop. Operations officer, you know who, off.